The next day rolled around, and with Pomfrey's approval, you were finally released from the hospital wing. Draco was there to escort you back to Slytherin dorm room, his hand lightly resting on the small of your back as he guided you through the halls. When you finally reached the door of the dorm room, Draco paused, his gaze flickering down to you. "Ready?" he asked quietly. Draco gave you a reassuring smile and gently opened the door to the dorm room. He ushered you inside, his hand still resting protectively on the small of your back. The dorm room was quiet and dimly lit, the soft glow of the lamps casting a warm light over the familiar surroundings. There was an air of tranquility in the room, as if the space had been waiting silently for your return. As you stepped into the room, your eyes widened in surprise as you took in the space. Draco had been busy, and he'd made sure the room was spotless. The bed was neatly made, the comforter pulled tight, and the pillows fluffed just so. The surfaces were dust-free, and the air held a faint scent of lemon polish. But it was the sight of the dinner waiting on the small table that truly caught your attention. It was a simple but lovingly prepared meal, the food still steaming and ready for the two of you to enjoy. Draco smiled at your shocked expression, a hint of satisfaction in his eyes. He nodded, a chuckle escaping his lips. "I did," he confirmed, his tone warm and filled with affection. "I wanted to make sure everything was perfect for you, especially after everything." He gently guided you towards the table, pulling out a chair for you to sit. Draco shook his head, his expression gentle but firm. "I wanted to," he repeated, taking a seat across from you. "You shouldn't have to worry about anything right now. You need to focus on resting and getting better." He reached out, gently taking your hand in his thumb gently rubbing soothing circles on your skin. "Just let me take care of you, all right?" You offered him a soft smile in return, a flood of gratitude and affection washing over you. Then, your gaze drifted down to the dinner laid out before you, a simple yet well-prepared meal. Draco had gone all out, even placing a small vase with a single, elegant white rose in the center of the table. He watched you closely as you took in the scene, waiting for your reaction. Draco's lips curved into a smile as you whispered your appreciation of the meal. He had indeed remembered to make your favorite, spaghetti and meatballs. "Yeah," he said softly, his hand giving your hand a gentle squeeze. "I remembered. Figured you'd probably be craving some comfort food after everything." Draco's heart swelled with tenderness as you thanked him, your voice betraying your appreciation for his efforts. Hearing you call him my baby was like music to his ears. "Of course, my darling," he replied gently, his thumb gently caressing the back of your hand. "You mean the world to me. I just wanted to make sure you were comfortable." He watched you closely as you began to dig into the meal, his eyes flickering over your features, taking in every little detail. He knew how much you loved this meal, and he found himself feeling unexpectedly pleased, his heart swelling with a simple sort of joy. "Is it still as good as you remember?" he asked softly, referring to the spaghetti and meatballs. Draco's smile widened at your words, his heart warming at your satisfied tone. He watched as you took another bite of the meal, his eyes studying your face, watching the way your expression lit up with happiness and contentment. "Good. That's all I wanted," he murmured, his hand still holding yours across the table. "As long as you're enjoying it, I'm happy." Outside, the rain continued to fall softly, its gentle patter creating a soothing background to the comfortable atmosphere in the room. The candles cast a warm, soft light that danced across the space, adding to the intimate mood. Both of you smiled as you continued to enjoy the meal, the simple pleasure of being together adding a sense of peace and rightness to the moment. Draco kept stealing glances at you, his gaze softening each time his eyes rested on your face. Draco was quiet for a moment, studying you carefully as you ate your dinner. He had a question he wanted to ask, but he was hesitant, unsure if it was the right time to bring it up. Finally, he drew in a deep breath, his gaze fixed on you. "Hey, can I ask you something?" he said softly, a hint of hesitation in his voice. Draco took a moment to gather his thoughts, his expression a mix of worry and curiosity. "I was just wondering," he began tentatively, his hand still holding onto yours across the table. "You said you don't remember anything, right? From when?" He trailed off, struggling to form the words, his gaze flicking away for a moment before returning to you. Draco's eyebrows furrowed as he listened to your words. The fact that you had no memory of what happened after walking to meet him that day was concerning, especially considering the severity of the situation. His grip on your hand tightened slightly as he leaned forward, a look of concern etched into his features, and nothing in between, no flashes or anything. He pressed gently, his tone laced with worry. Draco couldn't help the subtle pang of sadness that gripped him as you shook your head, confirming that you had no memory of anything after the moment you approached him. Part of him had hoped that maybe you'd remember something, even just a glimpse of what had happened, but the realization that you had blissfully remained unaware of the pain and trauma you had spared only deepened his gratitude. At least you hadn't had to experience the agony of being struck by that spell. I'm glad," he murmured softly, his gaze softening as he looked at you. Draco's expression softened even further as you mentioned Madame Pomfrey's words. He had indeed visited you every day while you were in the hospital wing, spending countless hours by your bedside, anxiously waiting for you to wake up. He nodded in acknowledgement, his thumb gently tracing over your knuckles. "Yeah, I did," he confirmed, a trace of sorrow in his eyes. I didn't want to leave your side. I wanted to be there when you woke up." Draco's gaze flickered with vulnerability as you asked him if he had missed you. A soft smile tugged at the corner of his lips, his hand giving yours another gentle squeeze. "Of course, I missed you like hell," he replied, his voice barely above a whisper. I was going crazy without you. Every moment felt endless, every second felt like an eternity. I needed to know you were going to be okay." Draco watched you rise from your seat, a flutter of surprise passing over his features. He slowly stood up as well, his eyes searching yours, trying to gauge your intentions. He watched as you rounded the table towards him, his heart thudding against his ribs, uncertain of what you were about to do. Draco's breath hitched in his chest as you wrapped your arms around him, pulling him into a tight embrace. For a moment he just froze, his body stiffening in surprise at the sudden action. But then his arms slowly came up to surround you, pulling you closer against him. He buried his face in your shoulder, holding onto you tightly, as if afraid that if he let go, you might disappear again. The two of you remained in that embrace, wrapped tightly in each other's arms. The world around them faded away, leaving only the warm comfort of each other's presence. Draco's eyes closed as he held onto you, his nose pressed against your neck, inhaling the familiar scent of you. It was a moment of pure relief, a silent reassurance that you were truly here, alive and well in his arms. Finally, he reluctantly loosened his grip slightly, his voice a low, soft murmur. "I missed you so damn much." Slowly, Draco pulled back, just enough to be able to meet your gaze. His hands came up to cup your face, his thumbs gently caressing your cheeks. His eyes flicked over your features, as if rememorizing every little detail. And then, seemingly unable to resist the urge, he leaned in and gently kissed you. It was a soft, gentle touch of his lips against yours, filled with all the longing, relief and love he'd felt during those days you'd been unconscious. The instant you kissed him back, Draco's restraint snapped. His arms wrapped tightly around your waist, pulling you closer as he deepened the kiss. The pent-up desire and desperation rose within him as he kissed you back with fervor. His mouth moved against yours hungrily, his tongue tracing the seam of your lips, seeking entry. His body pressed against you, craving the feel of you against him, needing to affirm that you were really here. Draco allowed himself to be guided backwards, his knees feeling weak as you pushed him towards the bed. He stumbled slightly, his hands still grasping at your body, not wanting to break away for even a moment. He felt the edge of the bed against the back of his legs and let you gently push him down onto the mattress, sprawling him on the bed beneath you. His heart pounded in his chest, his grey eyes darkened with desire and need as he looked up at you, breathless and waiting for your next move. As you came down on top of him, Draco tried to gather his thoughts, his body already reacting to your closeness. He could feel the heat of your body against his, the weight of you on top of him, and it took all his willpower not to just pull you down and give in to the desires swirling within him. But he forced himself to remember your recent condition, his voice hoarse with need, yet also filled with concern. "Darling, you should rest," he murmured, his hand moving to your hips, his thumbs tracing circles on your skin, almost involuntarily. Draco's breath hitched as you murmured those words. The soft, needy tone of your voice sent a wave of heat through his body, his fingers unconsciously digging slightly into your skin. He groaned softly, fighting the urge to just give in to what his body was craving. "I know, darling, I've missed you too, so goddamn much," he confessed, his voice low and strained. "But you need to rest. You need to take it easy, you're still recovering." With a swift, fluid motion, Draco rolled you over, swapping your positions. Now he was above you, his body hovering over yours, his arms bracing himself on either side of you, effectively pinning you under him. His chest was heaving with shallow breaths, his gaze locked with yours, his expression a mix of hunger and restraint. He could feel the heat radiating off your body, the undeniable pull between you, but he held himself back, trying to keep his control. Draco's restraint crumbled as he looked down at you, his body slowly lowering so that he was laying on top of you. He leaned down, his weight pressing against you, and captured your mouth in a gentle kiss. His lips moved against yours in a slow, languid motion, his tongue gently seeking entrance. His fingers tangled in your hair, holding you close, as if afraid you'd vanish at any moment. Draco groaned softly against your mouth as you tugged on his necklace. The gentle gesture only added to the growing desire within him, his body automatically shifting against yours, his hips instinctively pressing against you. He pulled back from the kiss, his gaze darkened with need, his breathing ragged. "Darling," he murmured, his voice low and rough. "Be careful, I'm trying to be gentle here." Reluctantly, Draco pulled away slightly, shifting to sit up on the bed. His body protested the loss of your touch, but he pushed aside his own desires, focused on your well-being. Tucking a strand of hair behind your ear. "You need to rest," he repeated, his tone both firm and tender. "I don't want you overexerting yourself." There was a hint of a pout on your lips as Draco spoke, making him chuckle softly, despite the situation. He knew you were probably just as frustrated and needy as he was, but he also knew that your body was still fragile, still recovering from your recent ordeal. "Don't give me that face, you stubborn girl," he said, gently flicking your nose. "You're not gonna sway me on this. You need to sleep, and that's final." With a soft sigh, Draco leaned down, his lips gently brushing against your forehead in a tender kiss. He gently pulled the covers up around you, carefully tucking them in around you. He sat on the edge of the bed, watching as you settled into the sheets. "You be good and get some rest now, all right?" he murmured, his fingers gently brushing some loose hair away from your face, his touch light and affectionate. "No arguing. You need to heal." As he was sure you were comfortable and the blankets were snugly tucked around you, Draco slowly stood up from the bed. With one last affectionate glance your way, he reached over and clicked off the lights, plunging the room into semi-darkness. The room was now cast in shadows, only a faint hint of moonlight creeping in through the curtains. He stood silently for a moment, watching you, his heart a mixture of tenderness and worry. Draco's gaze softened as he heard the slight uncertainty in your voice. He knew you wanted him to stay, to be close to you, and he wanted the same damn thing. He let out a low sigh, his shoulders slumping slightly as he nodded in the darkness. "Yeah, I'm staying the night," he confirmed, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm not going anywhere, darling. I'll be right here the whole night." With a flick of his wand, Draco wordlessly cleaned up the remnants of the dinner they'd shared. The dirty dishes vanished, leaving the table spotless and the leftover food neatly stored away. He glanced back at you one more time, making sure you were comfortable, before he walked around the room, extinguishing all the candles, plunging the room into complete darkness. Then he carefully made his way back to the bed, slipping in beside you. Draco's breath hitched in his chest at your soft request. God, he wanted that more than anything. He wanted to wrap you in his arms and hold you close, to feel the warmth of your body against his. He gently shifted closer, his arm sliding under your pillow, his body molding against yours. "Yes, darling," he murmured, his voice gruff but soft. "I can hold you." As you settled into his embrace, Draco wrapped his arm tighter around you, pulling you closer against him. His body heat enveloped you, and he buried his face in your hair, inhaling your scent. Outside, the gentle pitter-patter of the rain continued to fall, a soothing backdrop to the quiet moment between you two. He held you tightly, his hand tracing lazy circles on your back, as if he was trying to soothe your every worry away. The feeling of holding you in his arms again after so long was almost overwhelming for Draco. He pressed his face into your hair, his chest tight with emotion. The sense of relief and gratitude was almost dizzying. "God, you don't know how much I've missed holding you like this," he murmured, his voice thick with feelings. He squeezed you gently, his arms tightening almost protectively around you. "I thought I might never get to hold you like this again." With you safely in his arms, Draco felt a sense of peace wash over him. The sound of your even breathing, the feeling of your body against his, it was all like a balm on his weary soul. He closed his eyes, the fatigue from the past few days slowly catching up to him. He nuzzled his nose into your hair, inhaling your scent one more time. "Good night, my darling," he whispered, his words muffled against your hair. And with that, Draco finally relaxed, allowing himself to drift off into a dreamless sleep, comforted in holding you close.